Hello, everybody. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome, one and all, to another week of Frog Wrestling. I'm excited to have you all here. It's going to be a great episode. How do I know it's going to be a great episode? Well, because I know what's going to happen, sort of. I mean, the matches, if this is your first time here, are all run by the computer, so I have no idea who's going to win, but I do know what you're in store for tonight. I'm your host, Jon Jagger, by the way, and I'm coming to you from Present Wrapping Central back here. It's just the way it's going to be for a little bit, and it's just the reality in which I live in. My office is now where Christmas presents happen. But that is not the only thing we're making happen today, because I teased it on the last Pawn News update that I think we have enough wrestlers right now on our roster to do a tag team tournament. Now, we don't have enough tag teams to do a tag team tournament because we don't have very many tag teams, period. But what we do have is enough bodies. So I have forced all of the wrestlers to participate in our very first tag title tournament, the winners of which will go on to go up against the champions Good Bet for a TMS tag team title shot. Now, some of these, they're teams. They're legitimate teams. We're going to be doing the first two matches of that tournament tonight. In fact, let's cut to it right now so you can take a look at what these brackets look like. Let's see it. Second here. We'll turn that down just so I don't get into any trouble here. We'll turn that off so you can see the brackets. So here's what we are looking at today. We are looking at our first match being Grinding Gear versus the team of Stanley and Diontalus. Not exactly a team, but they've worked together before. And then we are going to be seeing Heroes of the Waste. That's going to be your Vorel and Nash Magard of the Solar Mines versus Core Red. In this case, Core Red being Scott Johnson and Brian Dunaway. That is going to be going on tonight. That's what we're going to see. Next week, we're going to see Core Blue, myself, and Bo Schwartz going up against the French Confection. And then we're going to be seeing Tom Merritt forced to team with Mark Spagnuolo and Ben Bumhoffer forced to tag with Dan Patriss, which should be extremely interesting because they are fighting each other tonight. So the old question, can they coexist, will be asked and answered. But we do need to get to our first match of the evening because we got a lot to do here, and just get right to it. So, as established, we're going to be seeing Grinding Gear, Garrett and Kyle, versus Stanley and Diontalus. Let's get that prediction up so you all can start throwing your points away. I'm sure you're going to get it all right. This is going to be the week where everybody wins a lot of points, except if it worked that way, you wouldn't win that many points. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm sure some of you will do well. And we're going to do our first tag tournament. Now, this is going to be an elimination-style tag match. The way the game works is that if you want to do, for example, in your main event, you want to do a elimination style, then they all have to be elimination style. And that is what I've decided I want to do for the main event. So they're all going to be that way. That's just going to be the way it goes. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I think I've got this all set up and ready. Everybody start betting your points. We will get right down to it. See some good tag team matches tonight. Everybody's trying to come up with a name for Stanley and Diontalus. Look, they got to win first. They haven't won anything. I don't think they've ever won as a tag team. Core Blue versus French Confection that early. Stacking the deck against himself. Well, you know, sometimes I get accused of playing favorite. Sometimes I get accused of making life harder for myself. Tonight will definitely be a he made his life harder on himself night. Oh, let's get me back up there. All right, coming to the ring first. The team of Garrett and Kyle, GG. Kyle, the Dragon Beef champion.
The following is a tag team.
Sporting a bit of a new look this week.
On the way to the ring at a combined weight of 504 pounds, the Grinders.
They have had a hard time week to week finding their footing, finding their place. But they will get there. They have been considered one of the better tag teams for a long time. A dangerous pair for sure. They are grinding, yep. They are squaring off against two fantasy characters, however.
Road Warriors from the wasteland, weighing in at 219 pounds, pretty boy Stanley Billings.
I'm going to come right out and say it. Yes, this athlete takes great appreciation in their own in-ring performances.
Stanley Billings,
Makes him a bad person. Who says
teaming with his evil alter ego in the ring. You would think it would be a dominant performance, but hey, you know, sometimes we wrestle with ourselves as much as we wrestle with others. I think Stanley's cape is well starched. Perhaps too well.
This guy just wants to fight, and he's about to get one. And here we go.
And for all their fighting amongst themselves, they sure team up a lot.
The Destroyer.
I've been thinking about it, and there is
Diontalus, the Archfey of Carnage. Now, Frog Wrestling is one of the few places where you have to ask yourself, who stands a better chance of winning? Two very real human beings or two very fictional human beings? The fictional human beings definitely depowered. They're not going to bring the full might of their powers for sure. And I would not necessarily say, although the prediction is pretty even, looking at the points here, it looks like Stanley and Diontalus slightly favored by number of points. However, more people believe Grinding Gear is going to win. So fewer points behind him, but more people supporting him. We're going to have to see how it goes. It honestly is a pretty 50-50 split. I think it's a testament to both how poorly Grinding Gear has done in their title matches recently, and just what unknowns Diontalus and Stanley are. They don't appear much, they don't appear often, but it kind of makes them a bit of a wild card to a degree. Of course, if they win, they will be moving forward in this tournament. Might lead to a stronger partnership for them. And Stanley and Garrett immediately going at it. Stanley managing to get a little momentum, though Garrett fighting back quickly. This is an elimination-style tag team match. Oh, and Garrett got caught. And Stanley with just a slap to the face. Nothing worse than being slapped by a bard. Oh, and Garrett with a good reversal, but Diontalus picking a key moment to strike and turning the favor back over to the side of Stanley here.
He's taking some good hits.
And what an impressive move from Stanley. He's going to take this moment to tag in Diontalus here. Diontalus coming out aggressive. And even though, oh, there's an early pinfall attempt. Kyle comes in to break it up. Doesn't want any of that happening. Diontalus taunting Garrett, but Garrett a little quicker to his feet. You know, it's very easy to say that Diontalus and Stanley are almost like good and evil clones of one another, but when it comes to their style, it couldn't be more different. Stanley definitely far more agile. Diontalus definitely more powerful. Oh. And Diontalus sat up just to get kicked back down. Kyle gets a 2 count. No interruption on the count from Stanley. Lets it happen. A good reversal from Diontalus. He's got Kyle up looking for a submission. Kyle fighting out of it. He is in a position where he could easily get away if need be, so Garrett is letting it happen. And Kyle just knocks him right out of the ring, makes a tag. Oh man, Diontalus just picks him up and drops him. And Garrett has been struggling this match for sure. Stanley back in now. He aims, and Garrett puts an end to any plans he had by jumping up. Good counter from Stanley, staying alive. And a submission hold. He's got the crossface locked in. Garrett in the middle of the ring. He's going to need to escape if he wants to stay alive in the match. He manages to do just that. Stanley is ready for him, and they are looking very impressive so far this match. And there is a pinfall. Garrett is in a lot of trouble. Diontalus in to help, and Kyle has been ejected. Garrett is extremely vulnerable right here, but he manages a reversal and is turning the momentum around. In the meantime, though, Diontalus is doing work on Kyle on the outside. Another springboard off the ropes, and Garrett going for a pin. It is not enough at this stage. But Garrett has finally found a little bit of momentum, a way to turn things around on Stanley here. And it is just chaos on the outside as... What is this? Stanley, a great move. Nobody's there to make a save. And Stanley Billings gets the pin. Oh, I thought this was elimination. Apparently, it is not. I might have made a mistake. But that's fine. You know what? It's a great first round. Not so much if you're grinding gear. A rough first go of it. Diontalus and Kyle fighting on the outside.
Here are your winners.
And the winners celebrating together. Great chemistry tonight. This right pairing can certainly do wonders, and make no mistake, this was a wonderful performance tonight.
And for the first time, we have seen true cooperation between Stanley and Diontalus. They've managed to get the job done in this first round of the tournament. And Grinding Gear is going to have to figure something out. They're performing very well solo, but they are having a hard time getting it together as a team. Yeah, the losing streak continues, unfortunately, for Grinding Gear. Well, we are going to have to see how that progresses. That means that Stanley and Diontalus will face whoever wins between the Heroes of the Waste, that being Vorel, Rasvim Kurik, and Nash Magard, versus Core Red, which is Scott Johnson and Brian Dunaway. Now, we could end up in a situation here now where we have Stanley and Diontalus versus the Heroes of the Waste. We might end up with a There Will Be Dungeons brawl, depending on how the next tag match goes. But before we get to that, we do have another match, and it's a bit of a rematch. Last week, if you remember, Ben Bumhoffer, fresh from being ousted from the Mod Syndicate, had a match with Dan Patriss, Dan's very first debut one-on-one match, and it ended with a little bit of a controversy. Dan won that match, but he did win with Ben's foot on the ropes as an attempt to stay alive in the match. The ref didn't see it. The ref still counted the 3, and Ben lost that fight. But now he has asked for a rematch and to kind of put an end to any controversy on that win. This is going to be a Falls Count Anywhere match. So it doesn't matter if your foot's on the rope. That's not going to end the match or prevent a pinfall. So we're looking for a definitive victory here. As with any Falls Count Anywhere match, there is no count out. Anything goes, weapons are allowed, and pinfalls obviously can happen anywhere in the arena. Let's go ahead and get the prediction for that set up. And this does mean we are once again unintentionally doing Marvel versus DC. Feel free to vote for the person, but if you don't want to vote for the person, you can definitely vote for the comic book company you prefer. Just go ahead and get in there and pick. So let's see. Falls Count Anywhere. Looks like we got it. That will be underway shortly here. Go ahead and get your points in. I see points already coming in for Dan. Ben is in the chat, so even if you're not going to vote for him, wish Ben a little bit of luck. Shep, thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it.
The following is a Falls Count.
Taz, I saw a sub from you earlier. I missed a few. It's just been too long. I know some came in before the stream started, so a big thank you to everybody who has supported the stream. Dan Patriss, our hockey playing Green Lantern, coming down to the ring right now. Dan made his debut in the men's battle royale to try and win the Money in the Bank briefcase for the Frog Pants Championship. He was the first eliminated there. In his first one-on-one match with Ben, he was victorious, though, as we already stated, it was with a bit of a controversial win. So we're going to see this match again. Different options this time, though. Ben certainly hoping to make it a bit different.
Weighing in at 275 pounds, the Spider Ben.
Ever since I took my spot here at the commentary table, I have wanted
Spider Ben
this match. I cannot wait to finally do it.
fighting for his place. Trying to figure out what life is like for himself outside of the mod syndicate. We didn't know it at the time, but it looks like Tom Merritt abandoning his mentorship of Ben in favor of joining Core Red. And the match is underway. Dan coming out the aggressor immediately. And there's not going to be any controversy, at least not any foreseeable controversy with this ending. Falls count anywhere, anything goes, rope breaks don't matter. A loss here is a loss here.
Not to mention all the monitors that have been tossed and shattered. Our announce tables desecrated. Hooked up.
And so far, Dan has been in complete control of this match.
He's looking a little off balance.
And looking very impressive, honestly. And just focusing on Ben's head at the moment. And now shopping for weapons. And perfectly legal in a match like this. Ben does not want to get hit with a chair, as very few people do. Says no, although he's going for the chair too. And Dan, not really ready for that, walks right into it. Ben making Dan regret bringing the chair to the wrestling match.
That's certainly one way of looking at what many would characterize as an incredibly dangerous match tonight.
Dan with a good takedown, leads right into a kick. And going for a pinfall here. Ben manages to kick out of it. Dan's still fighting, though. Oh, and another knee to the head, and I think Ben is bleeding. There's a pinfall. Dan looking for a dominating victory here over Ben. He has just been in control of almost this entire match. Oh, but Ben with a good move, but another good reversal from Dan. And every little bit of offense Ben squeezes, it quickly falls to the wayside. A big super kick to his face, and Dan is relentless here. Although Dan, I don't think he wasn't expecting Ben to stand up so quickly. Ben fought back, but it was not enough. Dan still managed to catch him. Gets a 2 count off of that, and Ben is bleeding and staggered. I don't think this is the retribution Ben was hoping for. He's going for a pinfall. Gets a 2 from it. Maybe more than I even expected with the little bit of offense that Ben has managed. Although, you know, nothing to scoff at with a couple chair shots. Ben has certainly done work, but this has been Dan's match to lose at this point. And there's another chair shot. Ben daring him to get up, and another one. And I believe that is 4 or 5 chair shots. So vicious. Ben's arm is Ben's arm has seen better days. I don't know what's going on with Ben's arm, but I think something's gone wrong. I'm not a doctor, okay? I'm not a doctor, but whatever's happening to Ben, I don't think is right. I don't think it's normal. Ben in the chat says he is experiencing a web shooter malfunction. That is, yep, that's what it looks like. That'll happen. I think Ben looking to literally beat Dan with one arm at this point. You know, I said that there would be no controversy on this one, but it certainly seems like there might be some controversy. Some strange magic has gripped the arm of Ben, and he is now fighting, sometimes literally with one arm. I just saw Dan deliver the geek stomp on the outside. The ref taking a long time to get into position here. A real long count, too. You know, I would normally fault the ref for this, but honestly, if I saw Ben in the state he's in, I would absolutely have concerns. I can't blame him. I don't know if Ben's gonna tap out or not. I don't know if the ref's gonna know. It's very unclear. Looks like Ben got loose. His arm is now... He's trying. He has gained enough control of his arm to slam Dan down. It's, honestly, folks, it's upsetting. What we're seeing here today is genuinely upsetting. Ben's still fighting. The geek stomp. Another geek stomp, and he goes for a pin. And mercifully, I think... we're gonna have to check and see how Ben's doing. Oh, that's a victory for Dan Patriss, everybody. What else can you say about that? Oh boy. Well, so far almost everything I've said tonight has been false. I told you that I generally knew what to expect from the night, and I can honestly say I didn't expect that. I told you that our tag team tournament would be elimination style, and it is clearly not. I told you that there would be no controversy in Ben's match. And I don't know if a freaky arm is controversy or not, but that certainly an argument could be made. That was not a standard match. It's a night. It's crazy. Look, I didn't set out to lie to you all. I apologize. We're going to just keep going. We're just going to keep going and hope for the best. That's what we're going to do. We have a match from our women's division next for you. Monica Stone, and she's going to be going up against Nicole Spagnuolo. Now, last week we had the women's we had a fatal four-way match from our women's division, and Nicole Spagnuolo debuting a new look, a new attitude, a new style, managed to get a victory in that match. Monica felt that she was a little robbed. She was distracted on the outside. She was trying to get a victory herself when she felt Nicole stole it from her in the ring. So we are going to give an option to settle once and for all who should have been the victor, much like our last match. Settling scores. That's what's going to happen here. So the prediction is coming up right now. You can vote Monica Stone, Nicole Spagnuolo. This is a standard match, no special rules or anything like that. And we're going to get right into it here. It's been a crazy night, Frog Wrestling. Never in a million years would I have expected tonight to go the way it did. But here we are. We're going to keep moving on. Ben just said in chat his iPad battery is dying. Maybe that's what was wrong with his arm.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring from New Jersey, the Wig, Eddie, Kitty, Stone.
You can see exactly why the arena.
Both Monica and Nicole reinventing themselves for last week's Fatal 4-Way. Monica also, much like Ben, ousted from the Mod Syndicate, trying to find new life outside of the faction. And she did extraordinarily well in that match, but just didn't manage to get it done. Upstaged a bit by Nicole Spagnuolo, who was another one. Nicole had previously, she'd participated in a lot of group matches and just didn't tend to stand out. But Nicole came in last week with a fire and a fury.
Matches like these, with talent of this caliber, this is why sports entertainment is an art form.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. The new, I don't want, actually, I shouldn't even say thank you for Monica's outfit. Monica designed her outfit. Clearly, she is a superior outfit designer than me. Brian Dunaway, thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. Oh, hi, indeed. We're going to be seeing Brian Dunaway in action in the next match.
It's worth noting that she's made clear that this is a must-win match. In terms of motivation, there's nobody harder on herself than...
And Monica, again, looking to show... She's showing that aggression right out of the gate, trying to show this new attitude, this new side of her, this life outside of the Mod Syndicate. She, like anybody that was in the Mod Syndicate, made that faction her whole identity. And when it went away, now she's trying to show off that there's more to her than that. She's more than a suit and questionable pants. And Nicole shooting her down, finding a little momentum, but Monica fighting back.
She's been on the offensive for a little while.
And right now, Monica in strong control of this match. She said the reason she wanted this match was she felt she deserved to win that match last week and felt like it was unfair that she lost. She said if it had kept going, she would have been the winner clearly. And now she's trying to prove it, and right now, I can't argue with her. And once again, showing that strength. A huge slam and going for a pin and an early victory.
She's really looking for the early victory, but she didn't find it.
And Nicole having a hard time recovering. Monica just watching, just biding her time, waiting for the moment to strike. Picked that one right in the face. Nicole looked like she was going to try and fight back. And just drops her. That is the hardest part of the ring, as I have been told multiple times. And Nicole, she had an amazing match last week, struggling to find any momentum this week, although fighting back, maybe finding a little bit of life here, though Monica already back to her feet in the ring and waiting. Yep, Shep has confirmed in the chat that is, in fact, the hardest part of the ring. That is good to know. Make a note of it. And Monica daring Nicole to stand up. She's got something planned, a big axe handle slam. And Monica looking extraordinarily confident, maybe too confident, doesn't realize Nicole has gotten up. You turn your back on your enemy. A good way to get stabbed in the back. A pinfall from Nicole only gets a 1, but enough to get Monica out. And oh my goodness, Nicole went for a high-risk maneuver, and Monica rolled in the ring.
Returning to the ring now.
Nicole kissed the floor.
Oh, what a clothesline.
Nicole still fighting back, trying to get a little momentum. I'm amazed she can still stand after that dive.
She overcomes the pinfall attempt. She shows that she's far from finished.
And Monica with another taunt, daring Nicole to stand up.
Oh, what a clothesline.
Just knocks her right back down.
Oh, right to the kidneys. Golly.
That's another focused attack to her torso area. Discus
Big
clothesline.
clothesline. And what is going on?
Wait just a second.
I was afraid this was going to happen.
The WWE is invading again. Dakota Kai's music playing. Dakota Kai has a history of interfering with frog wrestling matches. It happens. Dakota Kai, this is not her first time, now getting involved with Monica's match for some reason. And Monica, having none of it, immediately puts Dakota Kai in the sharpshooter, and then turns around and goes right back after Nicole. Nicole with a reversal, though.
Battle her way back into this.
And normally that would be a disqualification, but Dakota Kai didn't lay her hands on Monica. Dakota Kai getting out of here. Monica fighting off 2 opponents.
That can knock you out. She now has gotten herself into a distressing spot.
She has to rely on her instincts to turn things around.
And Monica still on top, even after fighting off 2 opponents, though Nicole to her feet quicker than expected.
Evades the attack.
Monica just knocks her down, though, like it's no big deal. And Monica in absolute control, just walking over Nicole. Gets a 2 count. Nicole's still alive. And no matter what happens at this stage, Monica has been extraordinarily impressive. There it is, going for the sharpshooter on Nicole, locking it in.
Oh, look at this. Is she gonna
And is Nicole gonna tap out to the sharpshooter? One of the most painful moves in all of wrestling. Nicole fighting through, finding a reversal, and gets out. Might be damage done, but she is fighting back. She is finding a little bit of life, but Nicole now making the same mistake. Turns her back. Certainly thought Monica was going to do. And what is this? Monica showboating. Just spinning around on top of Nicole and then slapping her in the back of the head. No idea what move that was, but nobody wants to get slapped in the back of the head. Just an absolute insult to injury there. But Nicole is finding a little bit of life. Still trying to get it together, it seems. She's setting Monica up for something. Slaps her in the face. Monica's starting to go over the top. I don't know what's going on here. They are both in a bad way, and there, my gosh. I don't know how Nicole could even find the strength to do it, but she did it. Nicole at the top. A huge moonsault going for a pin. And gets a victory. And I think this rivalry is just beginning. An impressive display at the end, but Monica fighting off two opponents.
Here is your winner, the Superstar, Nicole S.
Celebrate this win. You deserve it for focusing up and keeping your eye on the ball.
Nicole Spagnuolo hung in there. I absolutely thought Monica had that match won too. Nicole 2 weeks in a row managing a victory, not without its controversy, but certainly a victory 2 weeks straight. An absolutely impressive display. No two ways about it. A victory is a victory. That goes down as a victory. That's what it is. All right, let's get into our next and for the night final tag team match of the night. Not our main event just yet, but our final tag team match of the night. We're going back to the tournament. We are going to see the Heroes of the Waste, that is Nash Maggard and Vorel, going up against Scott Johnson and Brian Dunaway from Core Red. Let me get that prediction all set up here so you all can make your votes known. They are going to be listed as Heroes of the Waste and Core Red, just so you know who is on each of those sides. It is Vorel and Nash versus Scott and Brian Dunaway. Get that prediction up and going in a tag team match here. Let's go ahead and get it started. Core Red was extremely impressive last week. A dominant start to their run. Certainly a lot can be said about both Scott and Brian Dunaway and their performance in Frog Wrestling. But Vorel and Nash, once again, they're a bit of a wild card. They don't show up every week. It's hard to say where they're going to land.
They are ready for a fight.
Nash and Vorel,
Is a tag team champion.
if they win this match,
On the way to the ring, at a combined
they will be
weight
moving
of
on to
606
face Stanley and Diontalus.
Road Warriors.
The WWE
At least half of that team they're friends with.
Minutes for this match to start, and the countdown is almost over.
This is certainly a unique and interesting team. The absolute powerhouse in Vorel. The weird, unexpected style of Nash Maggard. Vorel, easily the largest wrestler on the roster.
Here comes trouble.
and their opponents at a combined weight of 505 pounds.
And entering in a match like this is a step towards Scott's ultimate goal. We've known ever since he joined Core, Scott has wanted to have all the gold held in-house. When he joined Core originally, he wanted Core to hold every belt that they possibly could. Right now, Core Red does have the Frog Pants Women's Champion in Kim Johnson. It does have Tom Merritt, who holds the Money in the Bank briefcase for the Frog Pants Championship. He can make any match at any time a title match for the Frog Pants Championship, which we will talk more about for our main event. But this now gives them a path to the tag team goal. And Nash Maggard coming out aggressive against the former champ. And a quick tag. Scott now facing a much larger, much stronger foe, and Scott not done with Nash. Nash might have been done with Scott, but Scott was not done with him, and it's already getting messy on the outside there. Vorel follows him, drops him right on the hardest part of the ring. If someone would check that fact for me, see if that's true. I believe that to be the case. And Scott just manhandled and thrown into the barrier. There's not many people that can just manhandle Scott like that, but Vorel is certainly one of them. And Vorel now going after Brian Dunaway, who hadn't done a damn thing, just sitting on the outside. So we have Scott feuding with Nash. We've got Vorel feuding with Brian Dunaway. And right now, Scott and Vorel are the legal men in the match. Okay, according to Trafo in the chat, he's confirmed with a doctor that is the hardest part of the ring. And only now do we get back to the legal combatants in the match actually facing off against each other, and Vorel coming out ahead so far. And a tag made by Scott. He's going to try and get out of here. Brian Dunaway finally actually participating in the match, using his agility to get an advantage on the lizard, Vorel. He's going to have to move quick. He's going to have to be agile against an opponent this much bigger, this much stronger. Right now, he's doing it. Off the ropes, catches him, and using Vorel's own mass against him. An extremely effective way, but Vorel deceptively quick, but so is Scott with a sucker punch. And Brian Dunaway back to taking advantage. What a maneuver. He's got Vorel down, but Vorel kicks it too, and Vorel looking to catch a breather. And Dunaway. Nash Maggard just catching more strays than anybody I've ever seen in a tag team match. Certainly not deserved, but both Scott and Brian Dunaway focusing on him. Scott, meanwhile, taking a bit of a beat down, and I don't know who Dunaway was trying to hit with that move, but he absolutely missed. And Vorel ready to take advantage of it. Brian Dunaway kicking ghosts on the outside of the ring. Scott is down. Dunaway fighting back, trying to get out of the grips of this lizard. And the count is at 5. There are no redos in this match. If somebody gets eliminated, they get eliminated. We are not redoing or rematching anything. So a count-out victory is a count-out victory. Nash tagged, and he comes in with a lecture. Now Nash looking to... Oh, he changed his mind, and he's ready. Looked like he was going to go after Scott, but he turns around at just the right moment to try and stop Dunaway. But Dunaway now dealing damage to Nash Maggard of the Solar Mines, and now giving Scott an opportunity to beat up on himself. Nash Maggard of the Solar Mines being Scott's D&D character. Sometimes you gotta fight your own fiction. This is one of those times. And Scott comes in dominating. Nash trying to make a tag. Scott just mocking him. Nash still crawling to Vorel, and Scott toying with him. Lets him crawl and then stops him at the last possible moment. Just a chance to do a little more damage. And it looks like Scott's deciding to tag back in Brian. Dunaway has been extremely impressive this match so far. Although Dunaway now going for a move. Nash Maggard blocks it. And once again, Dunaway facing the much larger Vorel. Vorel going for a pin. He's over in their corner. Gets a 2 count. No effort from Scott to break up the count. And there's a roll-up. Dunaway trying to steal a victory here, and you can see Nash coming in to try and get involved. Brian Dunaway, oh, looked like he was going to fight him. Gets punched in the stomach, but turns his attention to Vorel at the last possible second. And I think the big thing to take away here is you're seeing a lot of good teamwork between Nash and Vorel. But Scott is leaving Brian Dunaway to fend for himself, a real testament to how he has run things in core. You succeed or you die by yourself certainly seems to be Scott's attitude as of late on Core Red. And he would say that that mentality is what cost him the title. Here's a pinfall. Vorel kicks out at 1, still hanging in there, and there is another tag. Scott back in. Scott with a big boot to the lizard the second he comes in, going for a pinfall. Gets a 1. Vorel still fighting. Scott taunting the lizard and ready for him, but Vorel fighting back. And man, Vorel showing how a big boot is done. Vorel now just going after Brian Dunaway. Brian Dunaway also taking a lot of stray shots tonight. And Scott just watching, although he takes a moment to go after Nash Maggard. Scott waiting for Vorel to come in. Vorel fighting back. And Vorel in control, both of their partners down on the outside of the ring. It looks like Dunaway getting back, but Vorel has Scott up in a choke slam. And there is a pinfall attempt. Brian Dunaway looked like he was going to come in, but Nash stopped him. Scott hangs in there, though, kicking out at 3. Scott getting pumped up, but Vorel just slams him right back down. And he's going for another. Scott fighting back, though, says no. Huge punch to Vorel, and Scott's going to try and get out of there. He's taken a lot of abuse. Dunaway in, but Vorel's ready for him and instantly plants him with a DDT. Scott better recover on the outside fast, because at this rate, Brian Dunaway's going to need a tag sooner than later. Dunaway fighting back. No vicious blows. What's he got planned here? Sunset flip. And all of his moves designed to use Vorel's size and weight against him. A brilliant tactic against the big lizard. And another DDT, just planting him. But Vorel ready. Kicks him in the head. Vorel getting out of here. Nash Maggard coming in, and Brian Dunaway looking to try to figure out what to do. Nash has had a big long rest on the outside. He is in a good way. The same cannot be said for Core Red, although Nash with a quick tag, and Vorel is back in already. Oh, they both miss. Vorel quicker to recover, though, and now has Dunaway right where he wants him. Another quick tag. And a tag on this side. We've got Nash and Scott both in. And Nash Brings him down. There's the pin. I don't think Dunaway's in a position to help, but Scott manages to kick out at 2. Nash watching, waiting, sizing up Scott. Gonna try and put him down. And gets another 2 count. Scott absolutely taking a beating here. And another tag, Vorel coming in to see if he can finish off Scott. I don't know how Scott's staying in this. He has taken a ton of abuse, but he is fighting back, showing the resilience that made him the champ for so long. Oh, he does make a tag, a smart decision, as he has been taking an awful lot of abuse at the hands of Nash Magard. And Vorel now going for a pinfall. Gets a 2 count, and again, no movement from Scott. Scott continuing this tough love. You got to get yourself out of these situations. Oh, and here it is. Vorel setting Dunaway up for a tombstone pile driver. Although Vorel having a hard time getting to a pinfall. He finds it, and finally Scott decides to interfere. Vorel not happy about that at all. Now turns his attention back to Scott. And he is just going to chuck him out of the ring. My goodness. Dunaway fighting back, but Scott is out and down, and a tag made. And I don't know how they're going to be able to win right now. Scott and Brian Dunaway hanging on by a thread. Both Vorel and Nash still in a pretty good spot. A tag into Scott. I don't think Scott is ready for this, but he's gonna try. Comes in, immediately uses his head to try and get some sort of advantage. Scott and Dunaway trying to find any sort of momentum they can. Scott taking control, but a good reversal from Nash. Nash going for a choke slam. Scott reverses it. Scott's hanging in there, but barely. And Scott is calling for it. He's gonna try and go for the TMS. He nails it. There's a pinfall. Vorel's in. Dunaway's in. An interrupted cover there. And Scott flying over the top lands directly on Nash. And mocking him on the way down. Scott finally dishing out a little damage, finally finding himself in the situation he feels more comfortable in when he is in control of matches like this. But Nash makes a tag, and the big lizard comes in and immediately is in a good spot for a pin, but it is broken up by Brian Dunaway. Scott trying to get to his feet. He's fighting. He's hanging in there. Vorel not ready to end it yet, though. Scott fighting off. Knocks the lizard down. He's hanging in there, but barely. He's trying to get to the corner, looks like, and makes a tag. Brian Dunaway now with an opportunity to do a little damage, showing that agility. Dodging, quick kicks. And now he's got a plan. Off the ropes. Again, using Vorel's weight against him. And a DDT, and Brian Dunaway is on fire. Vorel getting out of town. Brian Dunaway having some words with Nash.
Oh, look at that.
and takes him out. And now going after Vorel, and Brian Dunaway absolutely running over the top of both Nash Maggard and Vorel. Vorel getting up. Brian Dunaway chucks him. They're in a dangerous spot with a dangerous count. This could end in a count out after all of this. And right now with Vorel in control, that doesn't look good for Brian Dunaway. The count is at 6. They have to make their way all the way to the ring before it hits 10. Brian Dunaway is out right next to the ring. He is not in yet. He gets in now. Vorel focusing on Scott, trying to do a little damage to him. And Brian Dunaway says, fine, you're going to hit my friend, I'll hit yours. Both Scott and Nash down, although Vorel eyeballing Dunaway. Dunaway just trying to deal damage to Nash Maggard. And Vorel waited for him, caught him the second he stood up. Dunaway fighting back though, fighting on the outside here. Slamming Vorel into the turnbuckle. Now Vorel paying him back. The count is at 6. Both opponents still on the outside. A vicious DDT as the count hits 7. They both decide to get in the ring. Nobody wants to see it be a count out. Vorel setting him up for another tombstone pile driver. He lands it. And I'm beginning to wonder if the knockout that is supposed to be turned on is in fact turned on. But there's a pinfall. Scott flying in from the corner. Makes the save. Both of these competitors still in it, still fighting, still trying to find some way to get a victory. I don't think it is. It's supposed to be. It's also supposed to be an elimination style match. There's a lot of things supposed to be going on. I don't want to think about what I'm going to have to do to fix this, but Brian Dunaway's jacket acting much the same way Ben's arm was. He's not letting it slow him down, though. He's getting back in the ring here. Big punch to Vorel's head. In comes Scott. Let's pretend it is. We'll just decide. Oh. Sneak attack from Nash Maggard. And a good series of chops from Vorel. All of them hurting pretty bad at this stage. Some might say if this match was set up properly, it would have been over by now. We're going to have to just see where this goes. Vorel right now feeling the wrath of Scott, though. Vorel sent to the corner. There's a punch. And the TMS drills him right down into the middle of the ring, but Nash is coming in to break it up, and he succeeds. Scott gonna deliver it again, though. A second TMS. And a kick out. I was gonna say, I think Nash will be too late to interrupt this, but Vorel kicked out. I can't even believe that.
And this is just a vulgar display of ruthlessness.
That was not a save on the part of Nash Maggard. Nash Maggard actually would have been too slow for that save. But Vorel kicked out of 2 back-to-back TMSs. And I don't know what it's going to take to put the Big Lizard down. Maybe nothing, as he immediately pulls a reversal and gets Nash in here. Oh, and Scott locks in a submission maneuver. If Nash taps before Vorel can save him, he doesn't. Vorel does save Nash, keeps him alive a little bit, but Scott now taking advantage of this. This was supposed to be Vorel's recovery time. And another TMS to Vorel. That is 3. Scott was not done. But neither is Nash. And Nash, while Scott was distracted, picks up a victory. That was a hell of a chaotic match. And a hell of a reminder that I need to make sure this match is set up properly, because something's not working the way it's supposed to. But regardless, the Heroes of the Waste pick up a victory over Core Red. And we are going to see a There Will Be Dungeons brawl next week, or I'm sorry, in 2 weeks, as Nash and Vorel are going to go up against Stanley, Billings, and Diontalus. Oh, thank you so much for the raid. Season of Discovery hype indeed. All right. Absolute madness right there. I'm going to figure out what's going on with these matches, though. We'll get it fixed before next week. Worst case scenario, we know what the brackets are supposed to look like. We'll just fake it. In fact, let's go ahead and before we call it for the tournament, because we still have one more match to do, let's just look at what the brackets are supposed to look like. This is them. So we had Stanley and Diontalus win over Grinding Gear, and then the Heroes of the Waste win over Core Red. That does set up Stanley and Diontalus versus the Heroes of the Waste. And then next week, we are going to see Core Blue go up against the French Confection, and Tom Merritt teaming with Mark Spagnuolo going up against Ben Bumhoffer and Dan Patriss. So that should be an interesting pair of matches, especially because Ben had his arm broken by Dan tonight. Hopefully it's fixed by tomorrow. All right, let's get back to it here. We've got one more match for you tonight. And that is a challenge that was set during Pond News last week. Last week we saw Core Red versus Core Blue. It was a 3-on-2. And I felt there was a little mess up at the end. I don't think that Jon tapped. I don't think that Jon was knocked out by Tom Merritt. And in thinking that, I have challenged Tom to an I Quit match. For those who don't know, an I Quit match, the only way to win is to get your opponent to tap out, or if you knock them out, therefore they cannot respond, they will lose that way as well. This match absolutely favors Tom Merritt. He's called Ace to Technical for a reason. It is a non-title match, just to be clear, although keep in mind, Tom Merritt does have the Money in the Bank briefcase where he can challenge for a title match at any time of his choosing. He has opted not to use it for this match. So we are going to have to see how that goes, how that plays tonight. All right, let's get to it. Start the prediction. Tom versus Jon. I Quit match. Certainly, again, favors Tom Merritt, but knockouts are possible. We We'll have to see how it goes.
It's Mr. Money in the Bank.
So this is definitely going to be interesting. Tom Merritt, at any point, can use that briefcase to create a title match, which in this case would be him versus Jon, of any match type of his choosing, and make it a title match. This match type is absolutely to Tom's advantage, and he's chosen not to cash in the briefcase. A very interesting decision from Tom. And a dangerous option for Jon, who picked this as the match type. So, for a brief moment where I'm going to talk about myself as if I'm not myself, when asked why he picked this type of match, Jon's decision to pick a match that was favorable to Tom Merritt, he said that if I can beat him at his type of match, I teach him not to ever try and cash in on me. I don't know if I agree with my own logic. We're going to see how it goes. Right now, points rolling in.
And his opponent, representing the Core from Scottsdale, Arizona, weighing in at 225 pounds, the Internet's World Champion, Jon Jagger.
Social media has been buzzing since this match was announced, and I think the competitors plan on delivering on that hype.
Jon is absolutely not known for a technical submission prowess in the ring. It is almost a given that he will need to win this via knockout, which he is good at. Tom definitely has more moves in his repertoire that can cause somebody to tap, and he has quite a few moves that can knock somebody out as well. We will have to see how this goes and how this plays out.
Just a reminder of the rules, folks.
And the match is underway. Tom quickly on the offensive here, and immediately trying to put Jon in a submission hold, trying to get an early win. Jon, with a good reversal, though, manages to escape and trying to figure out how to get out of this situation that he has literally put himself into. I'm waiting for Jon on the outside. A good strategy. Catches him as he comes out of the ring. And Tom Merritt in prime fighting condition, though Jon debates whether or not Tom should have won that match last week. He absolutely believes that the ref got it wrong. Jon gets him in a roll-up. This is a submission maneuver. It is a method to win, but Tom does manage to get out. Tom very good at escaping and applying submission maneuvers.
Delivered into the barricade.
Tom also quite good at striking, though, and immediately putting some hurt on Jon. He drapes him across the knee, and now vicious blows to the head. Absolutely another option to get a victory here. And Tom hoists him up, drops him back down. If Jon's goal is to tell Tom he has no chance at winning,
Tossed back into the ring.
A victory here does sell that narrative, but if Tom wins here, I think Tom is going to be looking to cash in sooner than later. Tom is very methodical. He's very thoughtful. I have no doubt that he sees this as testing the waters. How will he do in a match against the champ? And if he comes out on top, I think we're going to see him immediately start to pursue that title.
And he is now in a discouraging spot. Yeah, he has really hit a brick wall here.
Tom going to the outside and looking for a weapon. Weapons legal in this match. Any method to get your opponent to quit or knock him out, and a weapon will certainly do that. Jon manages to fight out of it, though. And now finding a little strength to fight back. He grabs the kendo stick. Tom stops him from using it. Tom is back in control of the match. Jon trying to find any momentum whatsoever at this point. Tom has absolutely been dominant this whole match. Off the ropes.
So precise. He's absorbing some tough hits now.
Oh, and a kick to the back. And the champion is hurting. Oh, Jon back with a monkey flip, though. Doesn't take much. Sometimes all it takes is a monkey flip and a big suplex, throwing Tom across the ring. And now Jon delivering a kick of his own. Some damage to the arm. Jon, again, not known for a Final Fantasy. Oh my goodness. And Jon casually.
Here's another quick look at some of the highlights.
A look at the highlights. The match was over almost before it began. I was not expecting this. A shocking end to that match. Jon, in an absolute bad way, in a losing position. Although a lot of people, hey, your points were secured tonight. A lot of people had believed in me. My goodness. Jon absolutely in danger. Tom in control. And the Final Fantasy kick proving to be the Final Fantasy kick, knocking Tom out. Even I wasn't expecting it to be delivered just then. Absolutely shocking. But a victory, no less, for Jon. And that was it. If I'm Tom Merritt, I'm not. But if I'm Tom Merritt, I'm going to be thinking very hard about when and where I decide to cash in that Money in the Bank contract. And right now, chat letting me know how they did. How'd everybody do tonight? Everybody keep their points. Who's our big winners? Who's our big losers? It looks like Ale 1969, Ale X 1969. I don't know why I cut that out. I guess that could be Alex. It could be. One could read it that way. Doesn't have to be Ale. All wins, no losses. Congratulations. Absolutely great. Misadventures in store. Thank you for the gifted sub to the Durog. Durog foiled by ads. The ads got him. But hey, for 1 month, the ads can't touch you, man. You're safe. The ads won't find you here. I lost all the points and it was worth it to see Jon win again. You know what? I was pretty happy with that too. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, hey, we should put knockouts available in this match to, make it fair. I didn't know it was gonna go that quick. Sometimes it's experimental. That's why it was a non-title match in reality. But that is going to do it for Frog Wrestling this week. Next week, we are going to see the continuation of the tag team tournament. One way or another, it's going to be sorted out to work the way it's supposed to. I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. We are also going to see the continued fallout from everything that's been going on. We've got a lot of money in the bank briefcase holders. We're going to have to see if any of them decide to cash in. We also have Nicole Spagnuolo, who has been on a crazy run, and it seems like maybe a heated rivalry brewing between her and Monica Stone, and who knows where her aspirations might take her. To get a better preview of what's coming next week, make sure you check out the Pawn News update that usually drops on Mondays, and I'll catch you all next week for more Frog Wrestling. Till then, bye everybody. You have yourselves a good night.